You know, if I had a nickel for every game I played that started with my character getting shot in the head, I'd have 2 nickels, and that isn't even enough to turn a sentry bot alarm off, so I don't really know what to do with that. Bioshock 2 was my introduction to the fact that a game having a morality system could be absolute grade A bunko, and I'm here to inflict my reasoning on all of you. Bit of background, when I was done consuming every inch of Bioshock I could get my grubby little teenage hands on, getting ready to play the sequel was top of mind. So, to recap, when I played Bioshock, Bioshock 2 was the most exciting thing ever to look forward to. When I played Bioshock 2, I was comparatively massively disappointed. When I played Bioshock Infinite, Bioshock 2 was actually pretty good looking back on it. And when I played Burial at Sea, Bioshock 2 could be the key to world peace. To get the good out of the way quickly, Bioshock 2 was a good game, one that finally fulfilled the long-desired niche of giving players a massive drill, the most vital tier on Maslow's hierarchy of Bioshock needs. It had some major gameplay improvements for one, such as letting you dual-wield weapons and plasmids, research being more interactive, hacking not making me up my daily dose of Advil, and it expanded on Rapture's lore in a fun and interesting way. Honestly, my initial disappointment came, I think, from lack of a plot twist, as that's what I got in the first game and was super excited to get again. Maybe that was the twist. But yes, it was good, and had a surprisingly fun multiplayer. Please keep all that in mind going forward, because holy crud, the game's morality system was an absolute nightmare. This was my introduction to morality in gaming, because somehow this game got to me before the masterpiece that was Shadow the Hedgehog, so the missteps they made were especially poignant. First off, it brought back the good attempt at a system that Bioshock had, the save versus harvest little sister mechanic, but it did very little to fix its flaws. Alright, so with the Little Sisters, you have a choice. Save the little girls you find and only get a bit of Adam, a resource that gives you some bonuses, or murder them violently and get a lot of it. Not exactly a complex shades of grey thing going on here. Segue. It's not even a big difference in Adam, all things considered. The most hilarious thing to illustrate this is when Sinclair, introducing you to the moral choice in the second game, says you'll barely get enough Adam to get the plasmid you need by saving your little sister.
You'll get just enough Adam for our purposes.
But when I did so, I got enough to buy what I needed and clear the vending machine after. Huh. In writing alone, this is an excellent complex moral struggle, but in practice, in a video game, not so much. Difficulty is adjustable, and by the time you're in a death loop because the game is too difficult, it's much more convenient and accessible to lower that than try to scour the area for a sister to murder. So unless you foresee a tiny boost giving you the edge a level down the line, there's not much mechanical point to it. But this isn't the only moral quandary Bioshock 2 has. Oh no. Now, my friends, it's time to get deep. Not deep like under the sea deep. Deep like Socrates if Socrates was preoccupied with the value of life instead of whatever he was going on about, I don't know. All my knowledge of philosophy comes from Assassin's Creed, and that sure didn't care much about what the value of a life was worth. See, I personally find it weird when games get high on the soapbox that all life is valuable no matter what. Honestly, only considering Grace and Stanley, one person who sent leagues of enemies after you and the other who was the reason you were in this position in the first place, it's a moral tale of revenge and whether or not you'll turn the other cheek, which is neat for a story point in and of itself. It's a little weird against the backdrop of will you save or brutally murder the small children who implicitly trust you. I do like how the game factors those things in separately in terms of the ending, but I think it makes the message a bit messy with the story it's trying to tell. But all this to say, the revenge or lack thereof is fine. My issue comes from the moral stance that no one should be killed ever, which by the third moral choice seems to be the game's stance. A bit of a weird one to give to subject, mow down every splicer you see with my massive amazing drill delta. I never love when the value of life is touted in a game where you're given no choice but to mow down every NPC you see getting there. I think it dampens the message somewhat. But Zero, the splicers are crazy and beyond saving. They're barely even people, they shouldn't count. You know what, I agree. So let's get into the nightmare choice of this game. The fate of Gilbert Alexander. Gilbert Alexander was an evil man involved with working on Big Daddies and Little Sisters. Overall a bad dude and very determined if you want to get revenge-worthy on the surface. Here's the wrench in the thing though. He ended up being the result of a cruel experiment, essentially turning him into the ultimate contained splicer, full to the brim with Adam and rapidly losing any semblance of sanity he could possibly have. Remember, the game never minded us killing splicers before, ones clearly capable of thought to the level of writing and cult formation, even going as so far to let you randomly murder the priest in an earlier level and not giving you a choice in the matter. Gil's warped persona, Alexander the Great, is not a man who regrets his actions. He's a man who gleefully tortures and causes pain because his mind is utterly gone. Additionally, Gilbert left messages for anyone who would find them, begging and pleading anyone who finds him as he is now to kill him, even giving them the tools they need to end his life.
You, my friend, must therefore penetrate them and kill me. Please believe that if I could have done it myself,
He desperately wants death with what's happening to him and doesn't make that unclear.
It is done. The sample disposal button on the panel in front of you would administer a massive jolt of electricity to the tank. More than enough to kill me. Whatever I may say to dissuade you, do not listen. The man whose voice you hear now is long gone.
If we were petty and vengeful, we might actually consider letting him live. But the game disagrees. In the game, the morally good action is to spare him. Let the madman live because for why? He was an important NPC, he's in a tube. Let's look at the statues the game displays for the spare kill cutscene. Okay, kill him and you're killing a snake. Spare him and you're pulling a man free of the snake? But you don't do that. You don't do anything to return him to sanity. The game gives you a red mark in morality for ignoring someone's plea to mercy kill him and instead leaving a dangerous megalomaniac to continue to cause pain and suffering and rot in a little tube of his own madness and pain. What do you mean pulling him free from a snake? You don't do that. You just go, okay, good luck with that, and you just leave. You don't... Okay, I'm good. Big reason to the part I'm so pressed is because what a hiccup like this means on the background of what could have been so perfect. You see, I'm a huge sucker for the end-of-game realization that someone impressionable has been watching you the entire time, learning from you and deciding how to act based on your choices. It's one of my favorite ways moral choices are implemented, and looking at the variety of endings to the game, you can see the love that they put into its moral choice system, going beyond good and evil and differentiating between how you treated adults and little sisters, even giving the player a choice in the ending cutscene when there's a bit of gray area to determine how things are going to go. It's very well done, and a big reason I'm treating this one choice so harshly. The one bad onion, especially the last big onion you have a choice to peel? I lost the metaphor. The stew now tastes worse is what I'm saying. My plea to writers here is to please try to figure out what story you want to tell, and if you want to impose morals, please try to make them consistent, or at least easily bookmarked, throughout the story you're trying to tell. It quite breaks immersion when you're trying to make the good guy a choice and get an achievement that you're nothing but an evil, vengeful dude. Nasty consequences, sure, but moral judgments are where it gets iffy. Now I know what you might say. Wait, Zero, if you do everything else right, you don't get a bad ending for killing Gil. And to that I say, it's not the ending, but the concept of the action. Or maybe the ending gets affected if you kill Gil and you accidentally just fumble a button when choosing between saving or murdering a small child. But it's probably the first one. What are your thoughts? Do you actually like the choice made with Gilbert Alexander? What games have you played with moral judgments, and do you or do you not agree with them? The only correct choice is to drop a like and subscribe on this video to get the perfect ending. More videos from me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all when the Rapture Dream is over.